Hey guys, check it out here. We are going to do a little review kind of video on this new Denon DJX 5000 Prime. So I don't have it in front of me obviously, but I was just this past weekend at the Canadian DJ Show 2017 up here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I had a chance to take a look at the CD player and look at the mixer as well too, and the turntables as well. So I'm going to give you kind of my first impressions on this thing. I have to say, it's really nice looking. This is a really good unit. There's a lot of things I love about it. There's a few things I can't say are the best. So let me go over the things that are great. Right off the bat, this touchscreen works really well. It's good for loading up your tracks. I love how the waveform's displayed. It's very fluid, has very fast frame rate. It's a good system. It's easy to navigate around, sort your music, everything, right? So one of the other things, being able to put the album artwork in the center or your own logo, that's nice. I like the way you can change the colors of the RGB around the ring, so you can make it look all nice and pretty. And you know what? From using a CDJ, I have to say it's pretty intuitive. You know what I mean? Everything kind of does what you expect it to do. You know what I mean? I like how there's USB ports in the front of this thing rather than on the top. Size is good. You know, really everything's pretty good about it. You know what I mean? So some of the things I can say I don't like. Let's get over those things there. Right off the bat, I have to say this wheel, this jog wheel here, it feels just like a DDJ SZ, which is good. Don't get me wrong, that's a great wheel. But as a CDJ user and using them a lot, it just doesn't feel the same. You can't replace a spring-loaded jog wheel that's touched to the spring with touch capacitive technology. It just doesn't feel the same. Would you get used to it? You would get used to it. But like I'm saying, it just didn't feel the same. There's a couple times when I grabbed that platter, I just kind of doing a little bit of scratching. Not that I can scratch, but I mean, testing this thing out. And there's a moment or two where it felt like it just didn't grab. You know what I mean? So this was a pre-production model, maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's settings in there to change the sensitivity. They said there were, but they couldn't find any at the time. So that's kind of a miss. Like they say, why reinvent the wheel? You should just stole Pioneer's wheel and threw it on there. Simple as that. And then you would have had it. Also, to the pads on the bottom here. Finally, we have pads. And you know what? To me, it would have been real simple. Either make this exactly the same size as a CDJ 2000 Nexus, so therefore it fits in the case. Or, seeing as you did make it bigger, why didn't you just put 8 pads like on a DDJ SX2? Because for doing slicer mode and finger drumming things, having 8 pads across all the way, it's just not very intuitive. It doesn't keep in line with, like I said, the Pioneer products like the SX2. It doesn't keep in line with things like the Reloop Neon. That has like 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. The SP1 unit from Pioneer for samples and stuff. There's just so many other units on the market and lots of other controllers. The Denon has a controller, for instance. Their new one. What is it? I can't even think of the model number of it. The 7000 or something, SC 7000. It's got the 4 and 4. So they could have made this thing just a little bit thicker, and they could have just put 4 pads and 4 pads, and still had room to put some extra stuff if they wanted to. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of the problems there. They're telling me that by the time this is released, they're going to have it so you can take your Tractor or Serato crates and convert them over to Denon engine. Actually, did they say Tractor? No. They were talking record box. So there's the big one right there. If you can do record box, take your crates, switch them over easy enough, you might have something there. The Q button, the play button, they felt okay, but it doesn't feel like a CDJ, which is good and bad. CDJ buttons feel good, but they break pretty easily. There's just a little tiny tack switch underneath that big circular button. The fact of these things too, so a couple other things. They can play, you can do like 2 decks off of 1. Let's see if it shows it there anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't really show it. Oh yeah, but like take a look. So you can do dual outputs, right? That's where it kind of shows it. So you can go like channel 1, channel 2, and then your other one, channel 3, channel 4. So that's a big one. You know what I mean? You got 4 decks on 2 units. So that's a very big plus. Look where the SD card is. You have all these USB inputs. You know, that's pretty nice for when DJs are switching around and stuff. You have multiple USBs. You don't have to mess around jumping back and forth. So let's go over to the mixer itself now. The mixer, I really like the mixer a lot. You know what I mean? It sounded good, but you know what I mean? Like, everything sounds good and you're just sitting there, right? Hard to compare. I didn't hear it in a club. Things I didn't like the fact that, you know, when you're running hot, it's in the blue. That's kind of bizarre. You know what I mean? Like, why change it? Everyone else is like green, orange, red. Just so people don't red line anymore. They're in the blue line. You know, that must be good. The effects. So this touch strip over here is amazing. There's an effect in here. Let's see if I can find where it doesn't even talk about it necessarily. I didn't realize it was backlit because I was in a pretty lit up room, so I didn't really see. Yeah, but there's one called, what was that thing called now? Breakbeat. So the breakbeat effect has like 16 different patterns that when you play around on the touch strip, you can really rearrange. It's kind of like a pattern gator that goes on and off, but really cool effect. So for techno and tech house, I was having a really fun time with that. Feels pretty solid. The filters, the dub echo didn't sound kind of like the dub echo I'm used to on a DJM 900. And I didn't get a chance to go through every single effect there. But like I said, the OLED display looks really nice. Backlit touch strip works really well. It was better than the little XY thing on the 900s. And once again, you have dual USB audio connections. Yeah, it felt nice. You know what I mean? I like the sweep effects on it as well too. That's kind of a nice one. And the fact you can, you know, 4 multi-input switchable channels works well. Flex fader felt nice. I'm trying to think of what else about this unit that was like really. It does have MIDI out, so that's kind of nice as well too. If you want to send the clock out to anything. Yeah, that's about all I can really say about the unit. So like I said, I played on it for about maybe 15 minutes. Would I change my rider? Pretty damn close, man. Pretty damn close. You know what I mean? That jog wheel not feeling just like the 2000s. That's not 100% of a deal breaker for me, but it's a pretty good one. You know, I really do enjoy the feel of a CDJ 2000. Now, like I said, everything else about this unit does feel great. I'd have to spend more time with it to honestly say if I would switch or not switch. I'd have to DJ an entire gig with it. But so for now, I'd have to say it's definitely worth checking out. So when these things come out, and it should be like any day now, I would highly suggest going somewhere, testing these things out, give them a whirl. One of the better products that they've made, but we'll see how it holds up to the Pioneer stuff. Anyways, guys, that's it, and I will talk to you all later. Don't forget to subscribe.